You know we be with it, we off in the hood like some wizards. Nobody ever gave us anything. Meant something from nothing, just like magicians. Gotta relearn everything. Just to remember that I was forgetting. Just to remember that we had a vision. Get it all, don't know how I did it. Time to go start season to go and you know those crystal truths. Let them know we in here, yeah, we in the building. Start season to go and you know those crystal children. Back up in the matrix, yeah, we know the vision. Start season to go and you know those crystal children. Let them know we in here, yeah, we in the building. Start season to go and you know those crystal children. Back up in the matrix, yeah, we know the vision. Off on the mission, you know how it goes. Off in the system, they turn up their nose. They took all the soil, but they didn't know. Through the concrete, you see the roads. Eyes ain't open, don't mean I ain't woke. Ain't got no cash, don't mean that I'm broke.
Welcome. Welcome in. We have to say, welcome back. Let's welcome Marcus Christolight back. This is episode 84. Where is that coming from? Whoa, I've got an echo. Episode 84. Where is that coming from? Whoa, I've got an echo. You know what?
I don't hear echo.
You know what, guys? The quantum energy is within us and outside. No, I do. I hear me. I must love my voice because I hear my voice. It's lagging.
Is it better?
Okay, let's try. Let's give it a moment. I think so. No, every time I start talking, I hear myself. Can you hear me?
I hear you, but not an echo.
Interesting. Ask anybody else if they hear an echo on my side. Are you playing with me? Okay,
No.
let's.
There's only one person in the
Okay.
room.
All right, I'm going to keep going.
I was gonna say you could try backing out and coming back in if you want. Could reset it maybe.
Okay, so let me try that. Let me back. I'm going to back out. I'm going to end it. I'm going to leave the studio and I'm going to come back in.
technical difficulties, everybody. But while we're here, come take a journey with me. Check this out, everybody. We are in Saguaro National Park in Arizona. See over there the big old saguaro, cacti, and then these mountains are full of saguaro cactus. Pretty dope. Pretty cool, man. So in the meantime, until we get Sandee back here, let's go ahead and take a rewind and see where we left off on episode 83, since that was almost nearly a month ago. So let's go ahead and give you guys a replay and let you guys catch up on where we left off.
Back up in the mix. Off on the mission, you know how it goes. Off in the system, they turn up their nose.
There is going to be infinite amount of ways to live your life. And you're going to learn that you don't have to mimic others to do it. That your free will is sovereign. And that's what we're here to do today.
Now we are here in the present for episode 83. I am Marcus Christolight, founder of Sacred Light Healing and Wellness. We have our co-host, Sandee Marshall, out of California, Soul Awakening with Sandra, and our wonderful sister and guest, the house mama, Shan Scott.
Hello. People home. So whether that's walking yourself home to yourself or to your ancestors, that's what I do. I also work with people's shadows, help them to integrate their shadows. And I also spend a lot of time working with entities. So
everything that you went through, you went through for another.
This cat.
Healing spirit.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Return to soul. I very much have struggled with believing that this is real. I had 3 psychiatric evaluations done in 2025 because the things I see and hear are so incredible.
It discovered that those present were not capable of distinguishing between unconsciousness with the mind, body, spirit intact, and the trance state in which the mind, body, spirit complex is not present. Therefore, it applied the fullest extent of greeting, which caused the dizziness and in meditation without protection caused in this instrument.
I am welcoming the compassion, the softness of the motherly energy of Kuan Yin to help me soften my mind, to help me soften my heart, and to maybe let go if there's anything I need to let go.
Two people out there. Oh my gosh.
Be cool one.
Of course,
Queen
it's a
Nefertiti.
redhead.
What? Oh, snap.
Yeah.
Oh man. Welcome back, Sandee. Glad you're with us. Oh wait, what has happened? Okay. I'm not sure what's going on over there. But that was where we left off in this series. Those colors over there. Welcome back.
That was some weird energy, guys.
Interesting.
Some weird energy. I have a feeling it has something to do with internet energy. So we're just gonna like bypass it, right? I'm not no biggie. People
Absolutely.
know we're here on YouTube. They know that we're here on Facebook with Marcus. They can find us. But I was welcoming Marcus back. This is episode 84, guys. He's been out and about doing the divine calling, doing his divine calling. Let's welcome him back. Welcome back.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. So I saw that you did the replay from a while back. So while I was getting, trying to get my way in here, make my way in here. So thank you very much for that. Look at his beautiful surrounding, guys. Isn't that beautiful?
These mountains over here are full of saguaro cactus. So all over it, it's just tall, standing saguaro cactuses just covering these mountains. It's super unique, that's for sure. And they say that the saguaro is named human ancestors due to how old they are and how long they live for. Some of these cactuses live for, they say, hundreds and hundreds of years. And it actually takes about 100 years just for one arm to grow and develop on these cacti. So yeah, I'm out here in Arizona. I went to the Tucson Gem Show and checked out some of the beautiful gems from around the world. Today we went to, it was called the African Art District, and it's just all African stuff. So it's people from Guinea, people from Kenya, people from all of the places of Africa, and they have their baskets, their customs, their art, their jewelry, their soaps, their shea butters, all that good stuff, and got some good stuff, that's for sure. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful travels. Really grateful, and even more grateful to be here for episode 84 while on these travels. And I'm just so beyond just happy that we live in this time period where we have the ultimate connection of nature and we have the ultimate connection of technology. So it's just so fascinating and beautiful that our evolution as humanity has gotten us where we are today, where I can be sitting right here in the middle of Saguaro National Park in Arizona, have great service and signal to have this beautiful channeling and session with the raw material with Sandee and you guys today. So grateful to be here. And yes, we did see episode 83 where we left off. We had our special guest, Shannon, the house mama, with us. in our community. And wow, beautiful, heartfelt channels came through in that episode. And I just want to say again, I'm just grateful to be here and be who we are in these moments. And with that, I'm going to hand it back to Sandee and dive into some raw material.
Let's dive. Let's dive in a now moment, right? A now moment. That's all Ra is saying, that every moment since the time they actually walked, since they actually had presence here 14,000 years ago, and they're still here interacting with us, making sure we get the message, making sure that we have an understanding when we ask a question, even from these 5 books. There is still more information that Ra is giving us. It just may not be called Ra, right? So the questioner says, before we move on to new materials, in the last session, there seemed to be a small error that I corrected, then having to do with the statement, no working comes from it, but only through it. Was this an error in the transmission? If so, what caused it? I am Ra. This instrument, while fully open to our narrow band contact, at times experiences a sudden strengthening of the distortion which you call pain. This weakness also tries to weaken the contact momentarily. This type of increased distortion has been occurring in this instrument's body complex for more frequency in the time period past, which you may term previous fortnight. Although it is not normal or normally a phenomenon which causes difficulty in transmission, it did so twice in the previous workings. Both times it was necessary to correct and rectify the contact. The questioner says, could you please describe the trance state? I am somewhat confused as to how, in a trance, pain can affect the instrument, since I was of the opinion that there would be no feeling of pain by the body complex in the trance state. I am Ra. This is correct. The instrument has no awareness of this or other sensations. However, we of Ra use the yellow ray activated physical complex as a channel through which to speak. As the mind, body, spirit complex of the instrument leaves this physical shell in our keeping, it is finally adjusted to our contact. However, the distortion which you call pain, when sufficiently severe, migrates against proper contact, and when the increased distortion is violent, it can cause the tuning of the channel to waver. This tuning must then be corrected, which we may do as the instrument offers us this opportunity freely. Back to you, Marcus. This is part of what he loves. Over to you. Unless you want me to keep reading, let me know. Well, I'll keep reading until he comes back. The questioner says, in a previous session, there was a question on the archetypal mind that was not fully answered. I would like to continue. Hold on. Make sure the pages aren't sticking. I would like to continue with the answer to that question. Could you please continue with that, or will it be necessary for me to read the entire question over again? I am Ra. As a general practice, it is well to vibrate the query at the same time as the answer is desired. However, in this case, it is acceptable to us that a note be inserted at this point in your recording of the sound vibratory complexes referring to the location of the query in previous workings. Note, this question was the last question asked in section 67. The query, though thoughtful, is in some degree falling short of the realization of the nature of the archetypal mind. We may not learn for any other to the extent that we become learned teachers. Therefore, we shall make some general notations upon this interesting subject and allow the questioner to consider and future refine any queries. The archetypal mind may be defined as the mind which is particular to the logos of the planetary sphere. Thusly, unlike the great cosmic all-mind, it contains the material which it pleased the logos to offer as refinement to the great cosmic beingness. The archetypal mind, then, is that which contains all facets which may affect mind or experience. The magician was named as a significant archetype. However, it was not recognized that this portion of the archetypal mind represents not a portion of the deep subconscious, but the conscious mind, and more especially the will. The archetype, called by some the high priestess, then is the corresponding intuitive and subconscious faculty. Let us observe the entity as it is in relationship to the archetypal mind. You may consider the possibility of utilizing the correspondence between the mind, body, spirit, and microcosm, and the archetypal mind, body, spirit, closely approaching the creator. For instance, in your ritual performed to purify this place, you use the term digestion. And I'm going to spell that for you because I probably pronounced it wrong. It's spelled capital E. The second word is spelled capital Geburah. It is a correct assumption that this is a portion or aspect of the one infinite creator. However, there are various correspondences with the archetypal mind, which may be more and more refined by the adept Geburah. This is the correspondence of Michael of Mars, of the positive of maleness. That Jaduha has correspondence to Jupiter for femaleness. And the spelling of that is capital VE, and the word is GEDULA. To the negative, and it says to the femaleness, comma, to the negative, comma, to the portion of the tree of life concerned with Ariel or Ariel, not just Ariel, not Ariel, but Auriel. Ra continues to say, we could go forward with more and more refinement of these two entries into the archetypal mind. We would discuss color, comma, core, relationships with other archetypes, and so forth. This is the work of the adept, not the teach learner. We may only suggest that there are systems of study which may address themselves to the aspect of the archetypal mind, and it is well to choose one and study carefully. It is more nearly well if the adept go beyond whatever has been written and make such correspondence that archetype can be called upon at will. Over to you, Marcus.
Wow. So I wasn't available when you were first handing it over because I was moving from outside to inside. So that's why I wasn't available in that second. But wow, archetypes, as Sandee mentioned, is one of my favorite ways to help teach about our different aspects of the one consciousness that we are all sharing. And, when you learn about the universal time matrix and you learn about different dimensions, and then you learn about the law of one, and you learn about the different councils, these are all archetypes. These are archetypes that are developed through the creator or source from its own self in order to experience different vibration and other quality aspects of form. So one thing we learn with the archetypes is that archetypes are ever present, and it's like these archetypes are kind of like already blueprinted in the records, or the Akasha, if you want to say. Now, what is the Akasha for people that don't know? The Akashic records is basically like a quantum library of all of the things that were, is, and could be in the field of existence. So that's where you get into quantum reality, and you learn that everything is existing all at once. And you can access it mentally through your mental consciousness through time-space. So it's a non-linear way of embodiment, is by living that way. And that is what it's like to transcend the 3D, as we say. That is seeing polarity as a unified whole, and that we are experiencing different contrasts of polarity in order to gain more information, more wisdom, or just soul level experience for our individual sovereign soul. So the archetypes, you learn about the law of one. The law of one has members, and these members in this matrix that we are existing in, they uphold certain aspects of the balance and order to maintain the whole entire universal time matrix for us to exist in. So when you hear about the law of one, these beings and these energies, these archetypes, the ascended masters, Ra, the archangels, as well as the different pantheons that you've heard about. There's a history to these things, and there's a divine purpose behind why the creator created it. So the archetypes are ever present, kind of just like what Ross said, the archetypes are in the mind. So when you think about the mind, you go back to Hermetic philosophy. Hermetic philosophy, which is the teachings of Thoth the Atlantean and the Egyptian mystery schools, is that number one, the all is mental. So of mental consciousness and mental awareness, and you can access it through the mind. And number two is that there is corresponding planes. The law of correspondence diverse. There are different archetypes and there are different beings that are helping uphold those dimensions to make those dimensions what they are. And then you get to interact with those archetypes mentally. And those archetypes are, your Krishna, your Yeshua, your Mary Magdalene, your Archangel Michael, so on and so forth. Those are your archetypes that you're mentally connecting with while you're in this third dimensional plane. So, through prayer, through meditation, through invocation, through candle ceremonies, through lamb blessings and things like that, we call in these archetypes. And when we call in the archetype, we are mentally connecting to the time space that represent the archetype. And then we're drawing in the energy of that archetype into this vessel to be able to be shared into this plane. But keep in mind that within all of this, there is not actual separation. We're all together creating the puzzle pieces of the one existence that we are a part of. So also too, archetypes go way beyond just like spirit guides and things like that. An archetype is behind everything. So everything has an archetype, which then makes it into a manifested form. So that means I'm an archetype, Sandee's an archetype, your pets are archetypes, trees are archetypes. So it's really beautiful that this conversation is coming up, and I really look forward to see what Ra has to say continuing forward. Back to you.
We are all archetypes. It's the sun is an archetype. I started sun gazing in the mornings, just started so that I could, do it for, start out sun gazing in the morning. I do it about 6:30 when it's coming right up and looking straight into the sun at that particular time, that dynamic interaction. And just for, 10 seconds each day to increase and doing some stretches and giving thanks and being open. But the sun is an archetype. The sun is there for purpose for us, right? It has in its DNA. Yes, the sun has DNA. The DNA is kind of like what your phone has in your voice messages or your written messages that you leave to yourself for yourself to remember to do this or remember to eat this or remember to cook this or remember to read this book or remember to get up and do this. Our DNA is encoded for our higher being to go into that mental state, say, what did I want to achieve here in this 3D form? That's all Ra is saying. Ra is saying to tap into that and then ask an embodying question and see where that embodying question opens up, where the divine opens up the information that's going to, how do you say, you download it or upload it, or it's going to implode in you. It's already there. Whatever your terminology is, then you can break it down. It's going to be different for every archetype. One size just doesn't fit each archetype, right? So let's go on to another question. The questioner says, I have a statement here that I am going to make and let you correct. I see that the disciplines of the personality feed the indigo ray energy centers and affect the power of the white magician by unblocking the lower energy centers, allowing for the free flow of the upward spiraling light to reach the indigo center. Is this correct? I know that Marcus is squirming in his seat right now. The fact that we said indigo ray. All right, let's see what Roz has to say. Roz says, I am raw. No, with a period. The questioner says, will you please correct me? I am raw. The indigo center is indeed most important for the work of the adept. However, it cannot, no matter how crystallized, correct to any extent whatsoever, imbalances or blockages in any other energy centers. They must need to be cleared, serotonin from red upwards. The questioner says, I am not exactly sure if I understand this. The question is, how do disciplines of the personality feed the indigo ray energy center and affect the power of the white magician? Does that question make sense? I am raw. Yes. Would you please answer? Says the questioner. I am raw. We would be happy to answer this query. We understand the previous query as being of other import. The indigo ray is the ray of the adept. There is an identification between the crystallization of that energy center and the improvement of the working of the mind / body / spirit as it begins to transcend space-time balancing and to enter the combined realm of space-time and time-space. Over to you, Marcus. And welcome, Corey. Not Corey, Casey. That's a blast from the past. I'm going to keep going. Oh, there he is.
All right. So, man, we're getting into the...
Were you squirming in your seat?
Centers, the chakras. And this is also one of my favorite things to talk about. As Sandee knows, this is like two of my favorite passions to talk about of our esoteric knowledge. And here we are, right back at it. Episode 84. So I'm going to talk about this diagram here a little bit. So this diagram is a wonderful diagram that shows not only our 7 main chakras of our physical human being, but it also shows the auric layers, also known as the energy bodies or the aura bodies of the human. And then we also see that it shows the grounding, the root cord from the root chakra or the red center, which Ra just mentioned, the red energy center. And then it also shows you the input and output positions of the way that the energy flows from the left and the right side, the masculine and the feminine, your receiving and your output. So this is an excellent chart to study the whole anatomy of our energy system. And, when Ra says, we gotta, I can't remember what the exact words were. I think it was like, we gotta activate or raise the energy from the red center up to the indigo. So as you guys can see in this diagram, the red center is at the base. It's at the bottom of the 7. It's the root chakra. And that is our grounding. So that is our ability to be stable, at peace, to have balanced strength, as well as to not feel like you're being overtaken by the world and that you're not being swayed by the outer experiences. So the more your red center is activated and balanced, the more you're going to feel, again, that stability, that inner peace, that safety within your own shell or your human being to be able to take action and be present and live in this world. So that's the basis. You want to have that clear and active to then start raising your energy from the sacral, which is the second energy center, the orange one, which is where you begin to feel emotion, energy, emotion. It's where you begin to develop your vital energy. It's where your kundalini begins to activate and you start to develop passion and creativity. And then you raise it up to your solar plexus, the yellow, that's self-confidence with the energy, as well as self-identity and ego, and your ability to take action in the world. And then as you continue up, you go to the heart, which is the green energy center in the center, number 4. And that's the balancing force between the higher and the lower planes. It's also the balance of unconditional love between you and all beings that are you in a different form. And then you raise it up to the throat chakra, the blue at the throat, which is where you express, communicate, and put forward into the world your mental energy being expressed through the throat, as well as co-creating in this world with others. Communication, discernment, and receiving information from others. And then you make your way to your indigo center, where we'll leave off, which is the third eye, the ajna chakra, between the eyebrows. And that is your perception center. And your perception is very important. Your perception is what tells you what your reality is and how you're seeing it, experiencing, and viewing it. So your perception can be based off of your own authenticity, or it can be based off of manipulation. It could be based off of programming from others. It could be passed down from family beliefs or habits, things of that nature. And that's the third eye. When you master your third eye, you balance your hemispheres. You balance the polarities of life, and you see it as whole through the mind's eye. And then along with the beliefs and the perceptions, it is going to be where you're ultimately experiencing the reality that you're experiencing and how you're seeing it mentally. And when you truly do master that, as they say, and of course there is no one size fits all or specifics to what that looks like, the mastering. It's just what feels like a balance for you within, is you then begin to detach from the physical world mentally. You're no longer basing things off of the material. You're no longer basing things off of what you see with your eyes, but you're feeling the energy behind it. You're feeling what your intuition is signaling. You're tapping into what spirit is telling you about what you're experiencing, rather than what's on the surface or what we see physically. So that is the ajna, the third eye. And that's just like a brief rundown on kind of like why Ra is bringing this up and what it means to work with the red center and raise up to the ajna, the indigo center. So I'll leave it right there, let you guys kind of digest that a little bit, process, and I'm gonna hand it back to Sandee.
All right. Handing it back over to me. So,
Blast from the past.
what Marcus says is basically that there is no one size that fits all. Your indigo connection does not have to look like his or mine or anyone else's. Your chakras, they're yours. They're yours, soul, body, and mind. This third density that we live in, our souls or our higher being chose to come here. It chose to experience. It chose to move through our chakras. It chose for us to be taught by, for us to teach our higher self what we're feeling, how we're feeling, what we're seeing, how we perceive it. No right or wrong to it. We get to decide if it's right or wrong. Those are the parameters by which we learn from. This is what Ra is saying, is your indigo is not going to fix your root. Your root is going to tell you or vibrate to you that's something that's not aligned through your senses, through your feelings. Each chakra is going to tell you how you feel in certain areas of your body. Like Marcus found these charts and read books and did studies, and you have to too. And that's where I will say you have to. That's your due diligence, to not just take Ra's word for it, or not just take Sandee's word for it, or not just take Marcus's word for it. Go do the study yourself. Go find where this chart is and break it down. Put a picture of your body up next to it and break it down. Stand in the mirror with this virtual pathway of all the chakras and all the outer vibratory spaces, and break it down for yourself. Right? One size just doesn't fit all. And where one person is lagging or feeling pent up in a chakra, doesn't mean you're going to be pent up in that chakra. You might feel a whole different way, and there might be a whole different reason why that chakra is clogged. Infinite possibilities. That's what the third density provides for us. Okay, so here we go. The questioner says, let me see if I have a wrong opinion here of the effect of disciplines of the personality. I was assuming that the discipline of the personality too, shall we say, have a balanced attitude towards, let's make sure my pages aren't sticking. Here we go. Towards single fellow entity would properly clear and balance to some extent the orange ray energy center. Is this correct? And Ross says, we cannot say that you speak incorrectly, but merely less than completely. The disciplined personality, when faced with an other self, has all centers balanced according to its unique balance. Thusly, the other self looks in a mirror, seeing itself. The questioner says, the disciplines of the personality are the paramount work of any who have become consciously aware of the process of evolution. Am I correct on that statement? I am raw. Quite. The questioner says, what I am trying to get at is how these disciplines affect the energy centers and the power of the white magician. Will you tell me how that works? I am raw. The heart of the discipline of the personality is threefold. 1, know yourself. 2, accept yourself. 3, become the creator. The third step is that step which, when accomplished, renders one the most humble servant of all, transparent in personality, and completely able to know and accept other selves. In relation to the pursuit of the magical working, the continuing discipline of the personality involves the adept in knowing itself, accepting itself, and thus clearing the path towards the great indigo gateway of the creator. To become the creator is to become all that there is. There is, comma, then in the sense with which the adept begins its learn, teach. As the consciousness of the indigo ray becomes more crystalline, more work may be done, more may be expressed from the intelligent infinity. Take the period. Over to you, Marcus. Okay, I guess I'll read one more. The questioner says, you stated that working of service to others has the potential of alerting a great mass of light strength. Could you describe just exactly how this works and what the usage of this would be? I am raw. There are sound vibratory complexes which act much like the dialing of your telephone. When they are approximately vibrated with accompanying will and concentration, it is though many upon your metaphysical or interplane receive a telephone call. This call they answer by their attention to your working. Ended with a period. Over to you, Marcus. It's like a telephone call. You're putting out a telephone call. Holy shit.
Did you pass it back to me?
I passed it back to you after I said, holy shit. It's like a telephone call.
I'm surprised how quickly you're passing it back. Usually you're doing longer segments. That's why I'm getting caught off guard.
Well,
but yeah,
the divine wants you to deal with this because there is a vibration. Just, woo. I need to take a sip. Everybody hydrate.
So I'm not sure where it left off. I heard something about the orange center.
It's
I was doing something
Ross
for a
said
moment.
that it's the great mass of light strength. There are sound vibratory complexes which act much like the dialing of your telephone. When they are approximately vibrated with accompanying will and concentration, that's why the divine wanted me to pass it back over to you. When it's accompanied by will, free will, our free will, and being concentrated in that will, right? It's like we're dialing the phone in the metaphysical. And then the phone call is answered. Holy shit, right? Oh.
That's very interesting. Well, I mean, the first thing I gather from that is that, number one, everything has a vibration. So everything carries a rate of frequency of a vibration. So this kind of course, connects with, the archetypes. The archetypes all have a certain vibration, a certain frequency, a certain tone. And then also parallel to that, there's numbers. Sandee, I know you like numbers over there.
I love
Numbers
I'm learning
create,
so much.
numbers help articulate vibrational code into this matrix, or I should say, as a part of this matrix. So it's very intriguing when you learn about different tones, different octaves, and you learn about how each chakra, each energy center, also has a certain hertz frequency. And anyone that's a holistic practitioner, anybody that likes to use things like tuning forks, singing bowls, things of that nature, you learn that a chakra is parallel to a frequency octave. Then it's also parallel to a planet. It's also parallel to a color. And it's also parallel to a music note. And then there's more parallels as well. But these parallels all represent one archetype, really, through many different forms. So, for example, 528 hertz frequency is the frequency or the tone or the octave for the solar plexus chakra. So you can vice versa with your free will how it is that you would like to interact with that vibration. So that even comes to your own self-healing work. So you can focus either on the solar plexus chakra and do specific solar plexus chakra activities and practices, or you can work with the frequency 528 hertz, and that will help your solar plexus energy center and the attributes that it carries into your human life. And then of course it's vice versa, and of course free will of mix and matching. And that's the beauty of it. It's free will of mix and matching. We have all these tools, all these different ways, all these different resources, all these different perspectives, all these different angles to be able to experience to go through this ascension process, this ascension journey as a human. And it's all okay. It's all free will. And I know Ra was mentioning free will. So it's up to you with the knowledge that you obtain about the universe that we're in. It is completely up to you if you're going to use your free will to act upon any of the knowledge, if you're going to integrate any of the knowledge, or if you're going to continue to go deeper into your mastery of the knowledge. That is completely up to you with your free will. So, one thing that I have found really helpful is kind of like understanding, what knowledge is and what wisdom is. And they are different forms. There are different articulations when it comes to this existence we're in. And, they say knowledge is basically information that makes up a construct. It's like the fundamentals, the functioning of something. And then the wisdom is obtained through experience. So it's you experiencing the knowledge. And then through the experience of the knowledge, you then integrate it into wisdom. Because you now have a complete understanding from within your own authentic vessel of what this energy, what this coding, what this information means according to this vehicle you're in. And again, it ties back to free will. It's your free will, what you do with the energy and information. It is your free will if you choose to go through an intentional change, but also know that the universe is constant. So there's always things at play, even if we choose to quote unquote do nothing. Because everything is still energy, everything is still emotion, everything is still vibration. So in a way, it's kind of like whether we're consciously choosing or unconsciously choosing things in life, life is still happening. So again, it's up to you though with your free will. Am I going to make life happen with me? Or am I going to let life happen to me? And as human beings, we flip-flop through these perspectives all throughout our life. Tomorrow I could have an incident that happens where now I am feeling grief. And now I feel like the universe is doing something to me for a temporary moment. To then go through a little journey within myself to find inside my mind and heart again that, oh yeah, this is an experience for my soul. And I get to do something with what I'm feeling. And here's what I'm going to do with it. So I say that last part because I want to remind us all that, we're in these human vessels together. And no matter how much knowledge I obtain, or Sandee obtains, or Ra gives to us, we still have to walk through the experiences of polarity. And I just want people to know it's okay. It's okay to feel the contrast. It's okay to express the contrast. And it's okay to be exactly where you are, knowing that you are in this divine moment. And that is up to you. what you would like to do continuing forward. So just don't beat yourself up too hard. Try not to hold on to, the moments that kind of get you reactive or triggered, and hold on to them as, the end of the world, or going to be the end of your life or your choices with free will. But just know that on the other side of your choice that you make, there's going to be an eternal opportunity to be able to make another choice along this journey. Whether it has to do with the earth, or it has to do with the astral plane, or if it has to do with your next incarnation cycle. And that's
Truth.
what it really means to me to
That's
be
my
given
truth.
ultimate mercy and grace from the Creator. Back to you.
That's, like I was saying, everything that he said, that's my truth. But truth changes because we're having these journeys. We're moving through infinite choice, infinite possibilities of choice. I could say it just like this: between my ages of 0 and 18, I grew up a Baptist, a little Baptist kid, driving my pastor, his wife, my Sunday school teachers nuts, because I needed to ask questions, because some of their stuff that they were teaching didn't make sense. That was my truth at that point. It doesn't make sense to me. This is my truth. I need answers. Between the ages of 18 and 30, I had support from my mother for that. When my mother passed away, I had to embark on my own. And I felt a little bit off and a little bit pulled towards everybody else's choices for me, based on what the information that I was getting in. I was getting in information, knowledge from someone else, but the wisdom wasn't totally activated in where I could break it down and say, now I understand. This is why I say, guys, take what resonates, leave what doesn't. That's why I say that. Because until I was about 40-ish, late 30s, early 40s, I was taking in everybody else's information, but I wasn't using that my third eye, and using the wisdom. I had it. It was in me. I was born with it. I started learning. When I learned about being sovereign, I thought sovereignty took away grace. But being sovereign doesn't take away grace. The grace is expanded. I can give it to myself. This is all Ra is saying. Ra is saying you have the energy centers in you. There was a point in time where us humans, we weren't ready to know that we had the energy in us. So we used the pyramids. We went outside of ourselves to the pyramids to use the energy that was provided there. And all Ra is telling us now is we've got it within us. We've got all the information, all the encoding. It's just infinite possibilities of how we can use it. And what I went through may not be what Marcus went through. And what Marcus went through may not be what a friend of Marcus's might be going through. One size just doesn't fit all, guys. That's what Ra is trying to tell the questioner. You keep asking these questions. Since book 1, the questioner asks the same questions, just posing it in a different way, thinking that Ra doesn't notice. And Ra, with the kindness that Ra has, lets him know, I'm noticing that you're asking in just a different format. I'm going to give you the same answer. It's all right to keep asking the same question, but one of the days, this is what Ra says, you have to allow your wisdom to help you answer the question. You already have it within you. So do we have time for one more question, or shall we end it there? We're like, man, we've got like, look at these pages, so light.
Oh,
I mean,
We're
it
about-
might be like 6 pages, I think. 6 or 7
That's
pages,
exciting.
maybe.
Making our way to book 4.
Making our way to book 4. So
Yeah,
what
we got time.
We got time? Okay. So the questioner says, there are many of these. The ones most obvious in our society are those used in the church rather than those used by the magical adept. What is the difference in the effect in those used in our various churches and those specifically magical incantations used by the adept? I am Ra. As Ra was, the divine was about to change the sentence, but I want to read it the way that Ra stated it, and then I'll be open to what the divine wants me to say after that. If all in your churches were adepts consciously full of will, of seeking, or of concentration, of consciousness, knowledge of the calling, there would be no difference. The efficacy or the efficacy of the calling is function of the magical quality of those who call, that is, their desire to seek the altered state of consciousness desired. The divine is saying through Ra that whether it's through the church or whether it's through magical energy or the quantum energy or the spiritualist adept, if we approached it all with wisdom, let's break that down. Wisdom, the third eye, intuitively, it would be that there would be no difference. No difference. And it's okay to approach it either way. Why? Because infinite possibilities are presented so that the divine can seek itself as authentically you or me or my Baptist pastor or Sunday school teacher. It's not wrong. There's no right and wrong. There's taking it in, assessing it, what is for your highest and greatest good, and how it moves you in your life experience. Okay. So the questioner says, in selecting the protective ritual, we finally agree upon the banishing ritual of the lesser pentagram. I assume that these sound vibratory complexes are the type of which you speak for the alerting of those on the inner planes. Is this correct? I am Ra. This is correct. And the divine says, stop there. Over to you, Marcus. Whoa, right?
Boy, oh boy. What a beautiful episode, I gotta say. To get us going again after a month of
I'm
not
telling
being
you,
live with all of you. And
it's the raw
I say, like,
experience.
it was definitely a raw experience, that's for sure. And I don't know, I just find it so funny. Like, the higher intelligence that we are, that is conducted through Ra, it's like it's laughing inside of me right now. Just right out the gate, coming back into this series, you know, we're talking about all the energy centers. We're talking about our free will and manifesting with our free will and being the sovereign, responsible one of our individual human self complex. I mean, wow, what a way to start closing out book 3. And for everybody out there, there's 5 books of the raw material. Not just one, there's 5.
There's
And we've
5.
gone through the first 2, and now we're on our way to finishing book 3 here in the next, I'd say, episode to 2 episodes. And then we'll be making our way to book 4.
Book 4.
Wow.
I believe that we're going to finish up this one in the next raw experience next Wednesday. Same raw channel, same raw experience. I laugh because when I grew up, that was what I waited for at the end of the Batman shows. Same bat channel, same bat time.
Oh boy, Batman.
Mm-hmm. And I'm old school, so it was the Batman and Robin. I think it was a 30-minute episode. I think 30 minutes or an hour. I can't remember, but it was so cute. But at the end, it was same bat channel, same bat time. So same raw channel,
Batman.
same raw time. See you Wednesday. You know, life
We should
is
make that a thing.
Pardon?
Oh, I was just saying, we should make that a thing. That should be like our outro. It should be like, same raw channel, same raw time. And then it like goes out into like some clip.
Yes. Yes. Why not? It's a raw experience, you know. I mean, listen to the name, The Law of One by Ra, a humble messenger of the law of one, of the one true infinite creator. How powerful is that? And Ra isn't saying, oh, I'm the only one. We're the only ones. We're the only ones that did this. No, there's many that have come to channel the creator's information. to help you understand that it is already within you, if you want it to be. Because there are a lot of people that know that the divine is within them, but they like saying, well, God is outside of me too. I can't negate that because God is the one. And God says, let it be so. That's how you see me. I want to understand this. Some say the divine is all mind. Some say the divine is all spirit. And the divine says, I am whatever you want me to be. Show me. Show me how you experience me. So I can feel it. So I know. You make a mistake. Tell me why you think it's a mistake. Tell me why you think it's a mistake. Because the divine is seeking itself in you. So if you feel that you made a mistake and it's detrimental to you, the divine says, explain that to me. Kind of like being a track runner and you're on that last little 10-minute sprint. What are you feeling? Why are you feeling this way? Tell me about it. That's Ra. Ra is saying, ask, I'll tell you. We did this. We merged. We became one. Our whole planet aligned. Infinite individuals aligned and became one. A version of the one true creator. That's why the scientists can't find any human beings, because they already merged and said, we're consciousness now. We're pure consciousness. And Ra is saying, you can do it too. Don't know the time. Don't know the place. It could be 2025. 2025 is done, but it could be 25-25. It could be 35-35. It could be 55-55. But Ra says it can be done. I know because we did it, and I'm going to give you the cheat codes.
And do you will it? Do you will it to happen for you in your life?
That's why you got free will. I was one of those kids that grew up with older people saying, it's God's will. And I used to go, well, but why did God give me free will? And then God usurped that to make it his will. It was his will that I fell off my bike and scarred my knee. I was one of those kids. It's our free will to tap into our thoughts. Thoughts do not become things until you focus on it. Thoughts are just floating around there until you grab one and say, I'm going to focus on this. This is what I want. And then the universe says, your wish is my command. Energy says, hallelujah, I'm going to be. What are you thinking? If you're thinking something positive, it's going to be positive. And you're going to create it. If you think it's something negative, and it's going to be negative, and you're going to create it. It's going to be physical. It's going to be tangible in this 3D, because why? That's what it was supposed to be. And the divine says, I'm you. Teach me why you chose that. Life, huh? Life is kind of, life ain't doing anything to you. It's doing everything because of you. That blew my mind. Blew my mind. No. I'm going to say it this way. I'm
At
going to
least-
use an adjective, and you're going to get upset with me, but that fucking blew my mind. Okay? Life isn't doing anything to you. It's doing it because of you. Regardless of if you are aware of it or not. I'm just, and that's my closing. That's me saying, see you same raw time. See you same raw time. Have a balanced and wonderful sleep tonight, wherever you are. If you're waking up in just like maybe in Australia or something, this is the early morning, then have a balanced and wholeness day. And ask an embodying question.
Thank you to everybody for joining us for episode 84. Marcus Christolight, Sacred Light Healing and Wellness, Sandee Marshall, Soul Awakening with Sandra. You guys can like, share, subscribe to our YouTube channels, and then you can follow us on our social medias as well. You guys can also visit down below in the ticker both of our sites and link pages right there. And if you guys have any questions, reach out. We do offer sacred space through many different practices and modalities, as well as life guidance for you to help self-remember and to remember that you are the one with the free will to be the co-creator of the life that you wish. With that being said, we are out. See you guys next time. One love.
Peace.
Our founder claims, this right here is an embodied form of the violet ray spectrum. Tap in and tune in Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern, live on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Grand Rising with Christolight, your sacred space for discovering the Ascended Masters in crystal healing. Ashe.